Hello everyone, this is Candy, the 614 Stitcher, and today is Sunday, April the 30th, 2023, and this is my Flosstube episode number 80. I would like to say hello and welcome to all of my new subscribers. I thank you so very much for taking the time out of your schedule to come and see if I might enable you with a project or two that I am working on. And for my returning friends and subscribers, thank you so very much for coming back each and every time I do upload a video. It has been a very hectic week. This is the end of the month. It was the end of the month for work, and so it was very busy. And for some reason, I have allergies. I never had allergies growing up, and so to get to the age that I am now and have allergies has been more than a notion. As you can tell, my throat is really raspy. My eyes are very itchy, so I couldn't even put on liner today. So I don't know. And it's still chilly because I still have on my hoodie. I just wish the weather would make up its mind. A few days it's warm, a few days it's cold. But we're not here to talk about all of my woes and me's and woes. We're here to talk about what I worked on for this week. So I will be sharing with you some WIPs, some FFOs, and some investments this time. So let's dig right in. Grab your stitching and join me in this new adventure. I did really good with the intro this time. Not so good with that last little piece, but I'm not turning it off and redoing it because normally that's what I would do. So, and we have a storm brewing here. So it might get a little dicey, or you might hear some noise in the background, unlike Albert walking around. So this week I worked on a couple of different things. I did not have any new starts, so that was one thing. So we're going to just jump right into the WIPs. And the first WIP I'm going to share with you excuse me, is Home Sampler. And this is by Durene Jones. It is in the, I believe it was the 2019. Yes, in June 2019, just Cross Stitch magazine. And here's a picture of where it was when I last showed it. And here is where I am now. So as you can see, I put in all of the purple flowers on both sides. I completed that. And I put in the purple flowers on the bottom and completed the entire vine all the way around. I stitched on this project 362 stitches, which I used to travel to the log house, which is for the road trip. And that took, to get that travel in was 350 stitches. So I stitched 362 stitches. I am still loving this piece. I also use this for categories, and it is for movie, and Home Alone was the movie that I chose because it had to be an H. So that is my home sampler by Durene Jones. I am stitching this on a 28 count color and cotton, and I didn't write down what the name of the color and cotton fabric was. But there we go, and this is actually also on my year of WIPs, but I haven't worked on it since January, so I need to really pull it out and get focused on it so that I can put some good progress in it. I still have a lot to do on it. Okay, so I had to let Albert out because, like, the wind picked up. He needed to go to the bathroom. I didn't want to wait until the storm was upon us. So now I'm back. The next WIP that I worked on was Spring Quakers. And this is my seasonal Sunday stitch. And here is where it is. And this is by Rosewood Manor. And here's a picture of where it was when I last showed it last week. So I finished motif number 3. I'm wondering, did I show you all this? No, because I recorded on Saturday and I did this on Sunday. So here is my motif number 3. I am stitching this on a 28 count garden party by Stitch Me, and I am using the called for Valdanis. I believe, I'm going to look at the chart real quick. Yeah, there's several that go down, but this is the bottom of the page break. So it'll go on to the next page. I still have more on the page up in this section down to here. So this will be the page break for page number 1. So now I'll be going back up and working on the second part of the page. But that's where I am for Spring Quakers. I love this piece, and this I feel like this fabric is perfect for it. I am using the called for Valdanis, with the exception of when I have to put in a name, pardon me, when I have to put in a name of a flower, I'm using DMC 535 for it. Now I sound like a teenage boy. Instead of using the Valdani for that, because it says to take off 1 strand, and I'm following what Carolyn Zook did using 1 strand of the DMC. The next WIP that I worked on this week was Lebanon House Sampler. Oh, for Spring Quakers, I used that to purchase in Road Trip. I used that to purchase a dimensions kit, which was 225 stitches, and I stitched 266 stitches. For Lebanon House Sampler, which is also by Rosewood Manor, it was made for the 25th anniversary of Keepsakes. And here's a picture of where I was when I last showed it. And here is where I am now. I am doing this on a 28 count Clouds by Atomic Ranch. And I am using the called for flowers, the called for Weeks Dye Works flosses. And I'm stitching this 1/1. And so there's where I am right now. I have stitched to right about here, and I started putting in the word kind on each line. Well, one line has the word kind and the other just has a K. I used this to purchase some Gentle Arts floss for 100 stitches in the road trip, but I stitched 272 stitches. This was also used for the H in categories for man-made house. So it is not difficult stitching the 1/1. I just have to do it with my magnifier and my light. And so it's pretty, you know, it's like stitching on Ada, except for it's tiny. So by the time I get done with this, it will actually be 12 by 10. And this fabric is perfect. It'll be like it's a garden in a garden scene. I am liking the 28/1. Not that everything I'm going to start stitching that, but for right now it is nice to be doing it. And here is the color palette for the stitch. They're all Weeks Dye Works flosses. My next WIP that I worked on was Dr. Maya Angelou. And this is by the Salty, it's just Salty Stitcher Designs. I'm so sorry about my voice. It is later on in the evening, and I thought that if I waited, you know, it would get better, but I can only wait for so long. Here's what that looks like. And here's a picture of where it was when I last showed it. And here is where it is now. So I already had the center motif done on this flower. I had, let me see, I stitched 202 stitches. So this was all, I think this was already in here. I can't remember now. But I went over and put in the next flower so it goes around. So when I pick this up again, I will be putting in the vine on this side also. And then it has more vines and a leaf and the flowers coming off of it. I am stitching this on a 36 count Pearl by Mystic Fabrics, and I am using my own color conversion. There are actually, so I'm using part of the called for colors and part of my own colors. And that's where it is now. I stitched this to travel to Quilt Patch, which is a shop in Pennsylvania. I don't know if it's a real shop or not. And that stitch, the travel called for 200 stitches, and I stitched 202 stitches. I zipped the bag into the zipper. So that was Dr. Maya Angelou. I had already made the, I have my own goal for a new start, which is 200 stitches. And I had already made that goal. And so I stitched another 200 stitches just so I could have a really good start on it also. My last WIP for this week is Half the Fun. And that is by Ink Circles. And here's a picture of where it was when I last showed it. And here is where I am now. So when I worked on this, I finished the motorcycle back, the wheel, and the back part back here. So all of that right there. Then I came back over and started on the train, and I completed the train. I put in the smoke and all of this and the track coming down. I use this to purchase an almanac frame, and it cost 250 stitches, and I stitched 338 stitches on it. That includes this back part back here and the complete train with the track and all. This is being stitched on a 16 count Fortnite Fabrics. I believe the name is Pedal Pusher, maybe. And I am using a Leo. At the time when I bought the floss, it was Leo and Roxy Co. floss, and it is Vampish. And that is where I am. I love working on this piece. The train did cause me a little bit of heart palpitation. I was just like, oh my goodness. But once I figured it, once you get going on it, you just go and it all turns out. So that is where I am on Half the Fun. I also used it as, so this has been used twice in the April's categories. I used it once for the title of a chart, which is Half the Fun. And then I used it another time for travel, which is for helicopter, because it has a helicopter in it for travel. Where is it? It's right there. So that that is where I am on Half the Fun. So I just pull out projects like for categories, whatever the letter is. It hasn't been called yet for the month of May. It won't be called until tomorrow. But I'll just start pulling out charts that match. So that way I can put more stitches in it, and I can also use those stitches for the road trip. So that is all. Those are all of my whips for this week. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, 5. So now we're gonna I'm gonna give you a little update about the road trip. I am finishing up leg number 6, which is what we're in right now. I'm coming to the end. I am traveling to Pittsburgh to go to a Steelers game, which I love the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I grew up watching the Pittsburgh Steelers. So it wasn't like, it's fine for me to do that. And I need 100 stitches to travel to Pittsburgh to watch the game. And then once I get there, they'll assign me another task to do. I am so sorry about my throat. They'll assign me a task to do while we wait for other travelers to arrive at the game. So that's where I am now. So who knows what I'll be working on next week, because the last time when we ended leg 5, I had to collect drinks, and I think it was 350 stitches for a drink or something. I don't know, but it was a lot. I was like, oh my goodness. So now I'm going to move into, I don't have any finishes this week, but I do have SFOs. Well, I take that back. I do have a finish. So let me show it to you. I finished See No Evil Frog. And I asked about the back stitching, and everyone was really positive, from leave the back stitching off to suggesting other phrases to go under there. So my friend Joy Lisa gave me this suggestion, see no frog, because that's what we all strive for, is not to see the frog coming. So I did change that, and here's where I ended up. So I put in another 83 stitches on top of the 500. It was 525 stitches for this piece. So now I just need to fully finish it in time enough for the Stitching in the Wilds retreat. It's going to be my smalls exchange. So thank you all so very much for your suggestions. I really do appreciate it. And that's what I am going with. So now within, the retreat is, I leave for the retreat in 19 days. So I have no time to fool around. I have to get that FFO'd and finished. I do already have a finishing idea for it. So I'm going to be working on that in the coming week so that I can have it fully finished long before the retreat, long before I leave for the retreat. So that is my tree frog, and it is completely finished. All the stitching is completely finished now. And for my FFOs, I showed you last week that I had finished the Life is Just a Bowl of Cross Stitch for May. And so here is it fully finished. This is the needle roll. And I had a time with these bows. But there you go. And then it just dawned on me that I forgot the chenille. So I still have to put the chenille on. But I'll do that after the video. But here's the pillow. And I changed the backing fabric on my pillow to little tiny roses. So that it matched the front. I really do like these a lot. I feel like I'm getting better at the bottom stitching. It's still not perfect yet, but I figure the more I do, by the time I get to December, it'll be perfect. I'll be putting in the bottom hand stitching. So there we go. I am considering doing the, the slit down the back and doing the stuffing that way. So I might try that for the June pillow once I get it finished. But there's the pillow finish, and I will get the chenille put on so that it can go in my bowl tomorrow. Right there. It also came with this really pretty rose that I'll be putting in the bowl with it. And it came with this postcard, which will also go in there. So those are my SFOs and my finishes for this week. So now I am going to go into plans. Many of you have said that you will be joining me for the mental health care SAL starting on tomorrow, which is May the 1st. And I would like to, and I hope I don't forget anyone. I'm sure I will. So let me just give you my apology now. If you are participating and you've let me know that and I omit your name, please forgive me. It is not on purpose. But a few more people have, friends have told me that they will be stitching with me. Carolyn Zook, Janet Jabber, Lisa D, who is a subscriber, EJ and Miss Shelia, and Robin Hall will all be participating along with the others that I named last week, all my friends from last week that I named. So if you are participating in the hashtag mental health care SAL, please make sure to post your pictures so that I can keep track and watch the hashtag grow. Every year, it seems like there are more and more pictures added to the hashtag, and I really, really do appreciate it a lot. I am still struggling. I am still struggling with what happened in 2020. And here it is, 2023. So I'll be talking more about that in the weeks ahead. Not my own personal issue, but some of the issues that we are still struggling with. The first one I know I'm going to talk about is loneliness. I took a seminar on loneliness last week, and it's very profound that even you could be in a room full of people and still feel lonely. And I thought that there was something wrong with me because I experienced that a lot. I thought I had social anxiety but it's a feeling of loneliness. So I'll be discussing that starting next week on Saturday when I come back. So if you are participating, I appreciate it so very much. It means a lot to me to have so many people support this idea that I had, because lots of people still are dealing with lots of issues and depression around COVID and how the world just changed. And I am one of them. I didn't think that I was, but I am still struggling with all of the changes that have happened in my life and because of COVID. Okay, so starting tomorrow, I will be working on these are my plans. I will be starting. So this morning, it took me hours to make this decision. And then I finally took a picture and sent the picture to my friend and was like, what do you think about this? So I will be stitching starting tomorrow out of this book, which you can get at the library. I actually got it as a gift off of Amazon. Lynn X Stitches Creates purchased this for me for Christmas this past year. And I am now following Stephanie Rohr, I think that's how you pronounce her name, on Instagram. And I should have got her Instagram name and I didn't. But if you look up Stephanie Rohr, her Instagram name comes up. It's like Steph X Stitches or Steph Stitches X or something like that. And so I will be starting my first piece out of this book tomorrow. And here is what I will be stitching. By next week, I will have a picture of it, so I won't have to keep holding up the book and making sure that I don't show the pattern. But here is what I will be stitching. It is called It's Okay Not to Be Okay. And I will be using this 32 count peony, and I will be using this Cottage Garden thread sizzle, and that's what I'll be stitching mine on. It says that if you stitch it in a 16 count, which the equivalent is 32 count, that it'll fit in a 7-inch hoop. So this, let me show you again. This is the fabric, and that is the floss that I will be using. When I have one-off patterns like this that don't have, you know, this actually has 3 DMC colors on it, but I have purchased Cottage Garden threads. I have all kinds of threads, and I've decided that it's time to start using them so that they're not just sitting looking pretty somewhere. Sorry, something caught my eye on it and I'm like fiddling. So I will be using my Cottage Garden thread, and I'm hoping that I actually have enough since I have to use 2 threads, but if not, I know where I can get some more. Unlike in the years past, I am not going to be trying to finish this project this month. If I get it finished this month, that'll be awesome. But I have a lot of stitching that I'm doing, and so I want to make sure that I'm getting all of my stitching in. So that will be one thing that I will be working on starting this month. Sorry, I bumped you. Then I am going to a retreat. I am going to a retreat in July at Silver Needle. Can you tell that the storm has passed? Because now all this light is reflecting back up onto me. And so at that retreat, they are offering 2 classes, one on Wednesday and one on Thursday, and I am participating in those classes. They are finishing classes. With that being said, this will be the first time I go to a retreat and will need to have pre-stitching done. 5 projects pre-stitched done. So this week I will be working on one of the pre-stitching, and it is, I'm going to be getting it started. It is, I'm going to hold it back because all I have is the chart because she sent it out to us. So this is the chart for the pre-stitching. Is to make a box top. So I need to get started on that because believe it or not, I am a slow stitcher. it takes me a little time. I mean, once I get in a good rhythm, I'm good, but I am a slow stitcher. So I'll be starting that, and that goes for my acrostic. The theme for the magazine monthly is, well, shoot. It is Arctic. In my head, it kept going Aurora, but I knew it wasn't Aurora. That's why I wouldn't say it. But in my head, that's what it was. Okay, so the theme is Arctic. And for my Arctic, I will be pulling out Winter Bluster by Glendon Place. Yeah, Winter Bluster by Glendon Place. And that will take care of my Arctic. I almost said it again. Because my friend, Carolyn, knows that I am a seasonal stitcher. And so she threw this little curveball in, putting Arctic in the middle of spring. We're trying to get rid of Arctic, and she's trying to keep it here. But anyway, so Arctic and Winter Bluster is my theme piece from my magazine. And then the acrostic is Borealis. That's why Aurora kept coming into my head, because Aurora Borealis. Okay, so for the B, I have box top, because that's what that stocking will be. It will be on a box top. For the O, I have Ophelia, because that is the fabric that StitchCon 2022 is being stitched on. For R, I have Stephanie Rora, and it's okay not to be okay. For the E in Borealis, I have Education class piece, and that is another piece that I, have to get finished for the class, and that is this Shannon Christine reef piece. So, okay. And I'll be starting that this week. So the B and the E, I'll be working on starting this week. The B, the E, the R, the O. Okay. For the A, I will be having another new start. I don't have a lot of spring pieces, and so this gave me a great opportunity to mix it up and throw some new starts in, especially since I need just 200 stitches in order to count it as a new start for me, because I'll be traveling with going to the retreat. My daughter graduates from college in May, and then she'll be moving back in. There will be a lot going on, so I did not make lofty goals. So with new starts, 200 stitches, and I'm good to go in my brain. Okay, so for the A in Borealis, I will be starting Adonis Blue by Talon Emblem. My throat is just getting worse and worse and worse. Then for the L, I will be starting Lindy Stitches Beautiful Things. And I have something to show with this in my investments portion. And then for I will be working on Seasonal Sun Sign, which is also my number 25 for my WIPGO piece. So I need 700 stitches for that piece. And I'm going to go back and also give you my number 23 for WIPGO is StitchCon 2022. I do have a goal on getting that finished before I go to StitchCon, or at least get it to a good point where I only need to put in maybe 100 stitches at StitchCon so that I can ring the bell for it. And then the last letter is S, and that is going to go for Sandra Workman, and I will be starting Life is Just a Bowl of June. They usually come about the 10th of the month, so it'll give me a chance to get it started, and I may end up having to take it with me to the retreat so that I can get some good work on it. So those are my plans. I will be using one of these to stitch on for the Pittsburgh Steelers travel, which is 100 stitches. So I'll probably pick up one of the ones that are already, well, I don't know what I'm going to pick up to work on it. Today is the first day that I haven't put one stitch in yet today. And it's already 6 o'clock in the evening. But I have been like racking my brain trying to come up with fabric for all the 5 starts that I need to take with me in July. You know, the magazine, the mental health care sal, what fabric I was going to use for that. Like, it's just been, I've been very, anxious about, a lot of things lately. And now I'm thrown anxious into my cross stitching, which is not a good sign. So that is where I am now with my plans. Let me clean this up so that I can show you my investments. I did get investments this week. So sorry, I thought I turned my speaker off, but obviously I didn't. So my first investment for this week is my Tiny Modernist Ornament series through Crazy Annie Stitching, and it is the Christmas tree. Okay, I'm going to turn it off right now. There you go. We've been sitting here almost 43 minutes and it didn't ding. Then it dings back to back. So my next investment that I received was my Floss Frenzy from the Fat Quarter Shop. This is Begonia, Beige, Blackboard, Blaze, Blue Bonnet, and Blue Herring. Those are the colors. This is the Weeks Dye Works Floss Club. And so they are going through the bees right now in the Floss Club. My next, so I received my fabric of the month from Rogue Stitching, and if you have not received your fabric of the month from Rogue Stitching and you want to be surprised, please move forward a little bit. I'm going to show it. I get a 36 count, and this is called Dune. It's a little bit more peachier than that. It does have some It is very lightly modeled, as you can see down here. But that is Dune. And then I also received my Bestitch Me Fabric of the Month. So if you want to be surprised when you receive yours, please move forward a little bit right now. And this is called Gorgeous Grape. I get a 32 count Lugana. And that is pretty spot on. Maybe a tidge darker, but that's pretty spot on. So those were my 2 Fabric of the Month clubs. I'm actually considering heavily getting out of one of them. I just, like, it drove me nuts this morning going through all that fabric trying to figure out what to stitch on. It was really a lot. And the one that I want to keep can't put me in the club that I want to be in. So I'm actually maybe going to change Bestitch Me and change to a 40 count and drop Color and Cotton because they keep sending me 28 count because they don't have any openings for the 40 count yet. So I put in an order to my friend at Pumpkin Creek Primitives. Her name is Bobby. She has her own website. I will link it down below. But for some reason, when I purchase fabric for Beautiful Things, I purchased a 16 count. It calls for a 36 count. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm not making it any bigger than what it is. This is a big piece. So I was watching Janet Jabber, pardon me. She said that she had gotten a piece of this fabric. And I was like, and she said 18 count. And I was like, sold. I just went to Bobby's thing and was like, it's the same fabric. It's just 18 count. It's super ecstatic. So this is an 18 count Diversity by Mystic Fabrics. And this was the fabric that I chose to stitch Beautiful Things on. She has it on a little darker fabric, I believe, but I wanted, this is perfect. So I'll be doing this 18 count over 1 with 1 thread. Put that to the side so I don't lose it. And while I was at Pumpkin Creek Primitive site, Janet had talked about she is a rep for Bobby's website. And if you want to know the particulars, head on over to Janet Jabber's Flosstube. She gets a discount code, and if you use her name, you know, you can get a discount on your purchases. But she was talking about the mystery grab bags. And I purchased the Summer FOMO #1 bag. And so they all have something different in them. So this has in it 2 charts. It has, sorry, it's got tape on it. It has 2 charts in it, and the first chart is Manny Dodonna's Simple Life. And the second chart is Country Cottage Needlework, Trees and Bees. The surprise or the FOMO bags purchases, there are different levels all over the place, and so I chose the lowest level and got 2 charts. And then there's a bag, and I received a floss holder, and 2 Classic Colorworks Really Tilly and Cherry Tomato. So those are what I received in the FOMO bags. I know she's calling them something else. She's not calling them FOMO. Surprise. Guess what? I know it's not surprise me, but that's what I received. So thank you so very much, Bobby. And it was so quick shipping. She shipped it on Thursday. I had it yesterday. And then I signed back up. I used to be a member of the Stitch Quarterly by Fat Quarter Shop. And I signed back up this year. I have let the Cross Stitch Club one go. So I signed back up for this. I'm really trying to get back into sewing. And these have great projects in them. So I'm going to do an unboxing. It has a coupon and a secondary coupon because this is April is their anniversary month. It has, which I really needed, so I'm really glad. It had these screwdriver set. I'm like in my head, screwdriver set, which I really needed for my sewing machine. It has an iron cleaner. It has this really cute needle minder that I'm about to take out right now. Maybe I'll put it on Flea Market Flowers. This is exclusive to the box. It has these really neat cord wraps, and it's a set of 3. And then what most people always want to see is the fabric. And so they also provide you with these boxes provide you with a pattern when they come. So here's the pattern, and it is by Bev McCullough of Flamingo Toes. And so you make the flower that was on the needle minder. Here's what that quilt will look like, and it is 48 by 57, which is a lap size. Now, I'm a quilt maker. I just don't always make quilts. I like making the blocks, but utilizing them in a different way, like giving the block as a wall hanging or something like that. So here are the fabrics. It's this really pretty green stripe, this yellow, and it's milk jugs with flowers in them. I'm calling them milk jugs. They might just be milk canisters or something. Pretty little flowers. Here's another pretty flower one. This is a bigger, the flower on this is a much bigger. These are all fat quarter bundle. This is a mini fat quarter bundle. And so that's what the fabric looks like. the bigger prints is harder to see when you have it all folded up. And then that was one in yellow or blue. And then they also have one in a peachy pink. So I'm going to try my hand. I don't know about making the whole quilt part of it, but because my people don't really do quilts. I have made bed-size quilts for my girls, and they like them and all, but they're just like, okay, Mom, thanks. So I make blocks and give them out as wall hanging to friends, mostly is what I do, especially at Christmas time. I've done that for a few of my friends, so we'll see. Hopefully it'll get me back in the groove. That's what I need. I need to be back in the groove. And I love Fat Quarter Shop's stuff, so. Oh. So those are all of my investments for this week. Again, if you are participating in Mental Health May, please make sure and drop me a line and let me know that. I like to keep track of everyone. And if you go to the hashtag and post pictures, it'll be easy for me to be able to do that. I'm going to thank you in advance for participating. More than ever, this month means so much to me. You know, it's easy to come on every week, and it's the day-to-day living that is hard. For me right now, it has been hard for quite some time, and I have, when I make my videos, I just muster through, because I feel like it's not fair for me to come on here and be melancholy or, you know, share all of my woes with you. We all have problems and issues and all of that. And I see this, I see Flosstube as a way to forget about those things for a few minutes and enjoy someone else's work and be able to work while you're doing that. And so I never want to lay all my issues out on the table, but just knowing that you all support me, even though you don't know what the issue may be or that I'm even having an issue, that you all support me so much means so much to me. And I really do appreciate it. My throat go from dry to frog to... So I hope that you are having some spring-like weather finally where you're at. Yesterday we were on a Zoom call. That's what I did yesterday. I was on a Zoom call, and they were Carolyn was talking about it was in the 80s in where she lives at, and I was like, man, it would be nice to be in the 80s here. Right now we're still dealing with the 50s, which is unseasonably cold for this time of the year for us. So I still haven't even started my yard work because it's just like windy and cold and wet, and I'm like, I'm not doing that. On top of, you know, my nose running, my eyes watering, my throat being gone. No, thank you. So you all take care and have a very great week. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Happy May Day. Happy all the days. Be happy every day. And I'll see you next Saturday. Bye.